Good morning, all of you. In our previous session, we started with India IT Act, cyber law, cyber crimes, IPR issues, hacking, www, then HTML and XML. Fine. Today in this session 14, we will discuss few more topics based on web services like hypertext transfer protocol, domain names, URL, website, web browser, web servers and web hosting. This is the last topic of our computer network. I hope all of you will feel happy because your syllabus has been deducted. So because of that, this will be the last topic of our computer network. Okay, so let's start with that. Okay, the very first thing is hypertext transfer protocol. See, this word you are using again and again when you are writing your website name. Okay, or your whenever you are writing your complete website name, it always start with http colon double slash then www.google.com or whatever it is. Fine. So we are using this again and again. So what you have to understand first of all, that it is a TCP IP based communication protocol. This is the first thing. It means that when we are using internet, that time we are because see, when we are using internet, no, so that time only we are using this protocol, that is TCP IP. So that time only this protocol is used for the communication purpose. Okay, now further it is given that is used to deliver data like your HTML file, image file, query results, etc. on the World Wide Web. So basically, when you're transferring the information or the links are there and we are moving from one page to another page, so for that purpose, this HTTP protocol is responsible. Communication between client computer and web server is done by sending HTTP request and by receiving HTTP response. So whenever we are getting connected with the servers, because see, generally we are clients on the internet. So whenever we send any request, so we say that we are sending HTTP request. Then after processing, the web server will send us the response. So it will be called as the HTTP response. Okay, so some extra topics related to this HTTP request oblique response. First is communication between client and server is done by request and responses. Now actually how it is done, see, the very first thing, as I have already explained, the client or a browser sends HTTP request to the web, means we are going to send the request via the web browser. It will be called as a client. Then after that, on a web server, it receives the request. So your web server is actually receiving the request sent by you or your web browser. The server runs an application to process the request, means it is going to process on the basis of your request. The server returns an HTTP response, that is the output to the browser, and last, the client, the browser, receives the response. So this is how this client server model, or we can say the HTTP request and response model, goes on, and this is how they are responsible for the communication purpose. Then next we are having is the domain name. Now see, to understand this domain name, first of all, it is nothing but the name of your website. For example, if I am saying google.com, it is given here, fine. If we say google.com, wikipedia.org, so it is nothing but the name of your website, plus it indicates the domain or basically the purpose of your website also, fine. So it is given over here, domain name is the address of your website that people type in the browser URL bar to visit your website. So it is nothing but the name of your website. So many additional thing is given. See, domain names generally we are using at two places. First is at the URL, means when we are writing our website name in the address bar, and second one is when we are typing the email address. So it is given after at the rate. In email addresses it appears, like for example xyz@gmail.com. So after at the rate, that gmail.com is the name of your domain. I hope this is clear. Okay, then next is some common top level domain name is given. See, this is what you are using again and again. It is given here .com. This is generally for the commercial purpose. Then .edu, .gov, .mil, .net for network resources, .org for usually for non-profit organizations, basically organizations. Then .co is for any company. Then .biz for business. Then .tv is for television. So basically we actually decide the purpose of our website, and then on the basis of that we purchase the domain accordingly. Fine. Now some domain names are based on the country code also. It is up to you, like which one you wanted to take. Now over here AU is for Australia, DK for Denmark, IN for India, NZ for New Zealand, FR for France, JP for Japan, UK for United Kingdom. I hope this is clear to you. So sometimes it is up to us that which type of domain basically we want for our website, and generally we are deciding it on the basis of the type of the website. Means basically what my website is representing, or to which particular domain it belongs. So on the basis of that we decide, and then we go for it. The next we are having is the uniform resource locator or URL. Now when we talk about uniform resource locator, see, it is nothing but the complete address of the website. So when we say complete address, it means http://www.google.com. So when we write the complete address is called as the URL. Therefore we are saying, and it is unique in nature. Remember, in world nobody will be having, no website will have the same URL. So therefore it is given, it is a unique identifier used to locate a resource on the internet. Even every page on the internet, means every web page on the internet will be having its own unique URL. Fine. Okay, then parts of URL is given to you. You can see over here, this is how you are going to understand. It is https://abc.com/search/query ? Q is equal to URL. Sorry. So now how you are going to identify, this is complete address of the website. Fine. So like how you are going to identify. So the very first thing is the protocol or the scheme. Means what protocol we are using with that particular website. So the very first thing is the protocol. Protocol over here is HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secured. Okay, so over here it is HTTPS. Then after that it is followed by host name or the domain name. As I said previously in our previous page, I already said that domain name is nothing but your website name. So over here it is abc.com is my website name. So I will say that this is my domain. Okay, so it is given unique reference that represents a web page. Then next is the path. Now inside this website we are having so many web pages. So which particular web page you wanted to open? Means basically on the server our website is sort of one, it is actually containing one folder inside which we may have so many subfolders, then inside that again so many subfolders, and then our web pages. So basically path indicates the path of that particular file on the server. Okay, so therefore it is given, a path refers to the file or location on the web server. For example, over here it is given that in this website this is my folder search and this is my query. So this is the path given over here, search/query. Okay, then next is your query. You can see over here this is the this query. We have started with the question mark. Okay, so found in the URL of dynamic pages. First of all, it is available with the dynamic pages. Now see, generally we are having two types of pages. One is static web page and second one is dynamic web page. We will discuss about this after in the next page. So basically if we are having dynamic page, in that particular case we can use this question mark. and this is called as query. Now after this question mark, basically we are writing the parameters. Parameters actually it indicates, see, like this URL we are assigning to the queue. Now whichever page we are actually opening, in that this value will go or will stored as a parameter. I can actually use this in that particular web page. If you understood this, then it is fine. If you are not able to understand, then also it is okay. Acha, one example I can give over here. Suppose I wanted to open your I wanted to check whether your login credentials are correct or not. So what I can do, when I am opening the page for checking whether you are authorized user or no, in that page basically what I can do, I can send your login ID and your password over here, and it will be passed to the corresponding next web page where the processing will be done, and it will be checked whether you are authorized user or no. Okay, fine. Then next we are having is the introduction to the website. We know that every website is nothing but the collection of so many web pages. Okay, it is nothing but the collection of web pages, and internet, every website is unique in nature. Okay, so it is given, and remember all these web pages in one website is related with one another. They are linked with each other, and then it is having one home page with which we are actually accessing the complete web pages on that particular website. So therefore it is given here, a website is a collection of publicly accessible interlinked web pages. So what you have to understand, first of all these web pages are publicly accessible. If you are not able to access any web page, then it is no use for you. Okay, then interlinked, it means they are linked with each other that share a single domain name. Single domain name is for a website, website name will be there, and all these pages or the web pages will be linked with each other. You can think this as your book, your computer book, where your domain name is nothing but the name of your book, and then all the pages of your books are actually related with each other. They are linked with each other. Okay, so all these pages will be called as your web pages. Websites can be created and maintained by an individual, group, business or organization to serve a variety of purpose. So basically we have to see that what is the type of website we wanted to create. It may be created for the small scale, or maybe it is created for the large scale. So on the basis of that, maybe a single programmer is making it for a simple shop or a company or an organization. It depends. So we can have the websites for the different sector or different sections. Now the types of websites, we are generally having two types of website. One is static website and second one is dynamic websites. Now what you have to understand when we talk about the difference between these two, static websites are those which are only used for displaying the information, means they are actually not interactive in nature. Okay, whereas when we talk about dynamic websites, then these are interactive in nature. They keep on receiving the input from the user, and then they do processing, and then it display the output. Okay, the difference is given over here also, static versus dynamic web pages. So you can see over here, the very first thing is, static websites presents the information online to the visitor in a straightforward way as it is stored in the server. Means we have created the web page, we have stored all the information, and as it is we wanted to display the information, then it is called as the static web page. A good example of static website is a simple company website providing details about the company's portfolio, contacts, future projects, etc. It is set usually requires some basic website skills and knowledge of HTML and CSS. So it's set up. Okay, so basically what you have to understand, that for static website, for making static websites, you are not supposed to be very much fluent in the programming languages. Even no need of programming languages. We are only using HTML language and CSS. HTML is language is generally used to display the information, and CSS is used to beautify those informations. So this is what called as the your static web pages. Even if you I'm not sure, but if you have done HTML in your 8th standard or 7th standard, you must have created some of the web pages, and if you are uploading that on the website, on the web server, then it will be called as the static website, because actually your none of the websites are interacting with the users. Then next is the dynamic website. Dynamic, dynamic websites in turn use databases to store and handle the information. So basically they are having, even your login page is the example of the dynamic web page, because it is actually interacting with you. Fine. What it is doing, it is taking your credentials as like your username and password. Then it is checking from its database that whether you are authorized user or no. So this is what given over here, that it use databases to store and handle the information, which allows the web page content to be changed automatically in certain predefined cases, and then the next page will be shown. Suppose you are authorized, then next page will be shown to you on the basis of your level in that particular company or your level in that particular website. A dynamic website is, for instance, every portal, blog or e-commerce store you may visit daily. Okay, and the list of dynamic website software is much longer, including PHP, JSP, Perl, ASP and many more. These all are the common languages that we use for creating the dynamic web pages. Then next we are having is the web browsers. Sorry, again a very common term. See, whenever you wanted to surf to the internet, then the software that you open is called as a web browser. Okay, it is nothing but one software or the application program in which we generally use to write our website name, and then it opens your website. Okay, so this is what called as your web browser. It is given here, a web browser or a simply browser is an application used to access and view websites, and then common web browsers names are given. I have written these names separately also. These all are your commonly used web browsers. See, generally you are using any one of these: Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Apple Safari, Microsoft Internet Explorer. Then Microsoft has given one more, that is Microsoft Edge, and then Opera. Okay, then next we are having is the web server. See, servers are nothing but those computers which are available on internet, which is generally used to store the websites. So whenever we wanted to store the websites, we are using or we are making the web servers. It is not compulsory that on one web server we can only have one website. We can have multiple websites on a single servers. These servers are 24/7 on, so that it can give you the facility throughout the day, 24/7/365. Some of the computers are not shut down from many years. Okay, so what you have to understand, that these are nothing but the big size, generally big size computers. We cannot say that every server is big size, but generally they are big size computers having sufficient storage capacity. Their speeds are much more faster as compared to that our systems, and then they are used to store the websites. Then next we are having is web hosting. Okay, now what is the meaning of web hosting? See, the meaning of web hosting is to upload our website on the web server. Okay, when we wanted to upload our website on the web server, then we have so many options available actually. It is given here. Web hosting is an online service that enables you to publish your website. Means what I am saying is upload, and once it is uploaded, it means you are actually publishing it. Fine. So publish your website or your web application on the internet. When you sign up for the hosting service, you basically rent some space on the server on which you can store all the files and data necessary for your website to work properly. So basically there are some servers which give you the facility of sign up first, and once you have signed up, then you can get some space in that particular server where you can upload your website. Once your website is uploaded, it is public for all, means anyone in the world can see that particular website. Then next it is given as the servers on which the websites are hosted remain switched on 24/7, means throughout the day, throughout the week they are on. These servers are run by web hosting companies. Each server has its own IP address. Since the IP addresses are difficult to remember, therefore webmaster points their domain name to the IP address of the server to their websites is stored on. So now what you have to understand, that when we are hosting our website, means when we are uploading our websites on the server, those servers are actually on. See, you generally shut down your system. Once your work is over, you generally shut down your system. Doesn't mean that whichever website you have opened will be not opened by anyone else, because that website is placed on the server. For example, you used to see, suppose if you are opening cbse.nic.in. Okay, it is the site of CBSE. So it is on 24/7 because it is placed on the server. Our computer, what we are doing, we are simply getting the information, we are connecting ourselves with the server, we are getting the information, and then after that we are shutting down our systems. But when we talk about servers, these are on 24 hours. Anytime you can check any of the web page, you will get it. Okay. Okay, then next last topic is types of hosting. Now you can see over here there are 4 types of hosting. The very first type of hosting is free hosting. With the name only you can understand that it is free of cost. Okay, so what it is given here, free website hosting is a free non-paid web hosting service. There are many web hosts who provide subdomains to anyone who want to make website. So see, basically what you have to understand, that there are so many web hosts. What they give is their subdomains. So first their company name will be called as the top level domain, and then as your they can give you one subdomain. So what benefit they are getting? Suppose if your website will become viral, in that particular case you are actually doing advertisement of those company also. Okay, but this is their criteria. So it is your choice whether which type of hosting you wanted to do. Okay, but what you have to understand, that free hosting is also available. Because see, suppose if I wanted to do practice of how to upload the website on the server, I am not going to purchase the space on the server. What I will be doing, I'm also going to search for those websites which are giving us the facility of free hosting. Understood? Okay, then next we are having is the shared or virtual hosting. Now with the name only you can understand. See, in share hosting, the hosting company puts thousands of websites in same physical server. Now see, just now I was saying that you can have so many websites in the web page, in one web server. So, and here what it is given, if you are using shared option, shared hosting, in that particular case, on one server only thousands of websites are placed. Even they will place your website also. Each customer has their own allocation of physical web space and a set of bandwidth limit. So basically every customer, see, basically for this we are paying, because see, everybody don't wanted to purchase a complete server. Fine, if you are doing practice or if your requirement is very small, definitely you will also go for the shared hosting. Why to purchase the complete server and keep it 24/7 on? Better is to get some space on the server and get your work done. That's it. Then next we are having is the dedicated server, as I said so. Okay, so it is the same thing. In this kind of hosting, single dedicated server is set up for just one customer. Suppose your company is very big, you don't wanted to share your website, or your data is actually very big and you don't want any type of sharing. you know the future of your website, you know later on the database is going to be increased enormously. In that particular case, definitely you will go for the dedicated server. So in that particular case, only one server will be there in which only your website is uploaded. Okay, we are not uploading any other website in that particular case. It is commonly used by the businesses that need the power, control and security that a dedicated server offers. Then last we are having is the co-location hosting. Co-location is placing an organization physical server on hosting company's data server. It means, see, now what you have to understand, that organization server we are placing at some other place. This is what called as co-location hosting. It means for hosting purpose we are changing the location of the web server. Okay, and the organization puts their server on the provider's rack and use the provider's power, network and connection. So basically what benefit they are getting, suppose if any company or any provider is actually giving us this space to keep our server, they are giving us the power, they are giving us the network connection. They generally, their network connections are enormously very fast as compared to that of our network connection. So we can place our site, we can place our server over there. This is what called as co-location hosting. I hope these all things are clear to you. Thank you so much.